And welcome back to the Livingston Parish News Weekly Show, a podcast brought to you by the Livingston Parish News. This is from the Cheap Seats. It's where I sit down with this gentleman here and we talk about what's going on in Livingston Parish athletics. I'm going to let him introduce himself real quick. Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm all right. This is Rob DeArmond, sports editor with the Livingston Parish News.
And plenty to talk about today, so we are going to be moving at a steady tilt. Let's talk about some state champions first. Indoor track wrapped up. So we're going to be moving, all these winter sports, trying to get them wrapped up. So we're going to be moving into the spring season. But first, like I said, we've got some state champions to recognize
It
here.
is, as we call it, the crossover season, true crossover season right now. So, a big thing coming out of the indoor state track championships was Porter Gibson from Denham Springs winning the shot put. 51-11 was his throw there to win. Also, we had a runner-up, Madeline Amy of Marpaw, in the pole vault in Division 3. And this is just a run through real quick. And then Deshaun McBride from Denham Springs finished third in the long jump to highlight those efforts there.
So a real good showing from the Livingston Parish crew up at the state indoor track meet. Going to be interesting to see how how some of those guys and girls carry that success and that momentum into the spring season.
Should help them tremendously.
Before we get into spring sports, we're still waiting for some powerlifting results. A lot of good results, but it's going to take them a while to compile it. So we got that information. We'll have that for y'all next week. But we are moving into basketball playoffs. We expect boys seedings this week.
That should be coming out later today around noontime. We're doing this Monday morning about 10:30 or so they should be coming out shortly. If you guys want to, I kind of looked at it a little bit just to give you an idea what's using the seedings or the playoff power ratings from GoPreps just to kind of give you guys an idea. You got the top 28 teams are going to make it in this revised playoff field. But looking at Division I non-select, and this, like I said, this is strictly from GoPreps. Walker's at number 4, Denham Springs at number 14, and Live Oak at 37. In Division II, Albany's at 41. Division III, French Settlement is at number 2. Doyle at 17. Springfield at 29. And in Division 5, Holden is 13. Marpaw's number 39. Marpaw at 39 won't get in, but the big thing for them is they had 13 wins this season, which Coach Tyler Dawsey texted me. He said he thinks that's the most wins they've had in at least 10 years basketball-wise. So they're making progress, and no seniors on that team this year either. So
a lot of returning production. On the girls' side, got a lot of games tonight. We still have, I believe you said before the show, 6 teams left.
6 teams left, yeah. It's a lot, like we said early, and remember half of those teams, we had 8 make it from the parish. Half of them got buys into the second round. So it's a matter of just getting things together. My biggest question for the coaches in talking to them was, hey, what'd you do with the bye? How'd it work? Because it's a little different. Normally you just go straight into the playoffs, and it was a little different for each one of them. Talked to Corey Arnold at Walker, and they'll be hosting Benton tonight at 5:30. He said they kind of gave the kids a few days off. Actually took them to Top Golf. Talked to Stacy DeRoos. They'll be hosting Eleanor tonight at 6 o'clock in Division II. They were number 1. They had that number 1 seed most of the season, but the way some things worked out, and they said they're, with their district and everything, they wound up dropping to a number 2. So they wind up getting Ellender in the second round. Ellender is the defending Class 4A state champion. So in the course of this new divisions and everything. Like we said, we touched on it with football, but Albany's playing in a division with mostly 4A schools, so they get Ellender right off the bat. She said what helps them there a little bit with it is that you can concentrate on one opponent for a little bit longer and kind of do that. So it's just a matter of how you wanted to use your time. We go to Division III, and for French Settlement is number 4. They will host Westlake. For Coach Martin, he said the biggest thing for them during the off time was getting some players who were a little banged up at the end of the season, getting them healthy, getting them ready to go. So that was he said it was huge for them. It came at a good time for them. Springfield is number 3, and they'll be hosting Port Allen at 6 o'clock tonight. Coach Billy Dreyer said the biggest thing for them with that bye was to kind of get back to some basics. Maybe do some things that they had worked on earlier in the season, maybe not so much later, but then kind of get back to it and get them back on, not really on track, but, ready for the playoffs. He said they're at home, and he said he's hoping that help him. Same with French Settlement. And for Doyle picked up a 64-47 win over Ville Platte in the first round. They'll be going to number 2A meet tonight at 6 o'clock. Kylie Savant scored her 1,000th career point in that playoff game. Just kind of steady there in that game for Doyle. Really steady. Just kind of took off there second quarter, third quarter, and kind of solidified their spot there. Let's see. Division 5, Holden's going to be on the road. They're going to Gibbsland Coleman. That's about a 4.5-hour drive. Coach Forbes talked to her. She said, you look at the drive. She said sometimes you think about maybe spending the night over, and then just being there. She said, but for us, it's kind of always been about just rolling up and getting off the bus and doing our thing. They're coming off a really big win. Brooke Foster hit a jumper with about 5 seconds left, and they beat Pleasant Hill 56-55 in that first round. So it's going to be interesting to see how that carries over along with the long road trip to see what can happen there. So other scores, Natchitoches Central beat Live Oak 60-39 in the first round, and then Slidell knocked off Denham Springs 46-45. Denham took the lead there late with about 10.9 seconds left. Reagan White hit a three-pointer, puts Denham Springs ahead. They come back. There's a jump ball on the next possession. Denham gets the ball back, but they couldn't inbound. They were unable to inbound the pass after they get the ball back with a 10-second violation. So Slidell gets the ball back, gets an inbound pass. Player misses the first shot, catches the rebound, hits the second shot with about 5 seconds to play, and that was your ball game there. It's one of those things where you look at that one and you don't see 1-point ball games a whole lot in the first round anymore, but it was a really good game. I think the key for Slidell was in the second quarter. They go on a 14-0 run. At one point, it winds up 14-5, but those 5 points that Denham Springs gets, they get them on they get a basket, miss the free throw on the and one, catch the rebound, hit a three-pointer. That was all with about 4.5 seconds left to go in the half. So it was a 14-0 run before those 5 points by Denham Springs. So,
and that is always a momentum shift.
Yes, so, absolutely.
Anything else for today?
Man, what else do we have, man?
We moved at a pretty steady tilt.
I'll touch on some softball here. Some really good pitching performances in the first week of the season. A lot of one-hitters. Albany's Briley Ford had a one-hitter in a 15-0 win over Marpaw. Live Oaks Kaylee Chandler had a one-hitter in a 10-0 win over Jenna. And Malloy Miles and Emma Petit of French Settlement combined on a one-hitter in a 20-0 win over Port Allen. Also, Taylor Douglas of Holden had a one-hitter in a 10-0 win over Mandeville to open the season for them. So, softball's on us. Baseball cranks up today. So, here we are.
And it's a pretty day. At least it was when I got here this morning. So, thank you, sir. We appreciate you taking the time. Of course, follow Rob on Twitter this evening. Going to be plenty of basketball coming out. And, of course, he will post all the final scores on our Facebook page when those games are complete. So if you introduce yourself, sir.
Hey, this is Rob DeArmond with the Livingston Parish News. Thanks for joining us.
And my name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you guys for joining us for the Livingston Parish News Weekly Show. Please remember the news is on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. We are once a week in print on Thursdays at $7 a month to get that in your mailbox. We're also online, www.livingstonparishnews.com. One last time, we appreciate you joining us, and we'll see you next time.